Nick of Time show. Go check out that show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What is up, KOT family? It's your boy Phil All Caps, aka Phil Knicks Nightcap. KOT family representing, and I'm excited. We put belt to behind in that last game and destroyed the 76ers, and so many things that our team at the KOT family talked about in our pregame shows or postgame shows before that series came to fruition. So shout out to some of the team. Shout out to Lee killing it on the Substacks. Shout out to Al and Ra on their new show talking about how JB needed to guard Kelly Oubre, and that happened, and it worked out perfectly. We just got some profits on this team. And speaking of one of those, we got a ball knower. And that's what this whole show is about. This is not about Phil All Caps. I'll be talking till I'm blue in the face tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here. But this is the time for my homegirl, my sister, Queen Ebony, Visor Gang, to be able to get her takes off and share with you guys what she expects to happen in this next game tonight against the 76ers. So without further ado, this is who all of you know and love, Queen Ebony herself. What up? What up, sis?
Appreciate you, Phil. Appreciate you for real. I had to get some off my chest again, but it's pregame. We got some new information. No Embiid for game 2, right? So that's I hear a lot of different talk about that, how people feel is going to be a different Philadelphia team. They feel they may play more in space because there's no Embiid. But to be honest, Phil, after seeing them play, it really doesn't matter to me. They just don't have enough pieces. I really don't understand why they did trade Jarrett to OKC. They could really use him right now.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy because when you look at it and you have a player like Embiid that, is out for the game, you kind of have to go, what else do they got? Like with us, we have a roster, thankfully, that we could have some starter miss a game, and yet we still have enough on the bench where we go, no, it's still going to be a game. You can't really say that about the 76ers this year.
Not at all. They're literally legit was 6 deep. Now, I guess if you want to count Drummond 7, now it's just 6 or 5. They're already tired from the long series and the short turnaround. And now they have to play their starters basically the whole game. And on both ends, we're making them work, which is so beautiful. We're making them move and work on both ends. You understand how that wears and tears, pulls a person through a 7-game series?
Yeah.
How the effects of that in itself. Salute. The effect of that in itself is huge. Trying to defend and then have to have the legs to shoot threes. I'm thinking of Maxey. I'm thinking of Maxey having to defend and then now having to carry such a bigger workload. Same thing for PG-13. He trying to guard OGs and Mikal. That's physical work right there. And OG playing out his mind. Check out my guy Lee's Substack. He explained just how out of his mind OG is playing. Kind of like a Kawhi and Giannis had a baby. That's how that's how OG is playing right now.
Yeah. What's crazy is so crazy take to say, but us destroying them in that last game kind of helped them out a little bit because they had been playing 39 and 40 minutes, some 41 minutes. So the fact that they didn't play the whole fourth quarter because they knew it was already a done deal, that actually gave, Maxey and some of those other guys some rest. So congratulations to the 76ers. The Knicks did you a favor and let you rest a little bit in that last game. But, the whole...
I didn't even think of it like that. I didn't think of it like that, Phil.
We had no rest, so we killed them, and they're like, all right, we'll rest. But the whole Giannis and Kawhi Leonard baby thing is kind of crazy. To think of Kawhi is crazy. So
But
what are your thoughts? Yo, it's
So
crazy. The way he's playing is for real out of his mind. So yeah, definitely.
You found love for the butcher. Number 23. Yeah. Mitch. That's another. Okay, let's talk. Mitch, I see big games for our starting five, but especially our big men, Mitch, Cat, OG, even. Mikel. I've been on here saying how Mikel plays well in space. He's been moving. We've been moving multiple people at one time. It's constant movement. And what that gives you is it makes mismatches. It makes people stop to think, and it causes hesitations on defense because now they're like, okay, trying to make adjustments and not make the same mistakes, and they make another mistake doing that. Meaning, how we seeing people try to stop that back door, but in doing that, they actually give shots to a lot of times Jalen Brunson or Mikel or Josh. Others get shots because they're so worried about the backdoor passing. But without, they got Drummond and Bona who picked up 1,000 fouls in 2 seconds. They have them as backup bigs, but it's really going to be open season to the rim. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Philadelphia's point of attack defense. They really have to guard their yard. There's no real rim protection there. And I didn't really think about that. That in the fact of there's no real point guard play either on their team.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how much of lack of point guard play they have. Maxey, no disrespect to him, he's more of a scorer than really somebody that's running the program, the game manager. You know how we get on Jalen Brunson about that? I think that's kind of Maxey's issues too. He's not really. You can get him to turn over the ball. He's not naturally a point guard to me. More of a scorer, like he's a point guard by default. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a great point. Is you look at the situation with how their roster is constructed, and you don't have a point guard who runs the traditional point the same way Jalen Brunson doesn't run the traditional point. That's where you got to give the coaching staff in Mike Brown and his guys the credit, because in the playoffs, us going with the non-traditional point guard route of ISO basketball was not working out in those 2 games that we lost to Atlanta. And so they found out who is our facilitator that we can go through. And that was Karl Anthony Towns. The thing that they don't have is a Karl Anthony Towns. They don't have someone that can really facilitate, because you look at VJ, he's talented, he's young, but he's a scorer. You look at Paul George. Paul George is getting back to being the elite scorer that he was. You have Embiid. What does he do? He scores. Sometimes he passes, but he's still a kind of shell of himself, coming back from injuries as well. And so their whole roster starting lineup does not actually have a facilitator. And the only semi-facilitator they have is Grimes, who's coming off the bench. And then, having to deal with our lockdown defenders off the bench, but no actual scorers alongside of him when he's playing. So they don't have the possibilities, or Nick Nurse, the obvious, like, make an adjustment that Mike Brown saw. So shout out to Mike Brown for that. But, I do want to give props to Jalen Brunson. I want to hear your thoughts on that, on him being able to really pivot, to pivot his role and still show up as elite, yet help us win. This is championship basketball that we're seeing.
It is, Phil. Definitely. It's happened 3 games in a row. And after every game, I'm still in disbelief. Like, it feels like almost a dream. The way they're playing. You ask for this. You ask for this type of play, but to see it happen in real time, it's almost like floating on a cloud 9. I shout out to Jalen Brunson taking up the challenge on both ends, because even the defense, what do you have, like 3 steals or whatever? He's playing good positional defense again. Like, I don't have to be the best basketball player, but if I'm in the right spots, I can help my team, and that's exactly what he's been doing. And also, just like you mentioned, his game management is so. It's going to defensively. Max is going to. He doesn't have enough energy for that, though. That's the thing. Go ahead and do that, but we'll get to that. They're with Jalen Brunson on the offensive end, just being a game manager, learning when to take his foot off the gas, learning when to press. Okay, in the beginning of the game, let me set the tempo. I'm gonna set the tempo. You get what I mean? And then my teammates will follow. Okay, it's easy for me. You want to let me get off? Okay, I'm going to get off now. Pause. And then as the game goes on, I'm going to get Mitch a lob. I'm going to do this pocket pass now. And in doing that lob pass, like I've mentioned for seasons, he's getting open shots for himself because now people are hesitating. They don't know whether to play his floater, to play him, or go to Mitch. So sometimes they'll just drop back to Mitch and he'll get a floater or get a pull up. Easy drop coverage. Everybody's mentioning all down content creation land how Jalen Brunson against drop coverage is barbecue chicken. He's gonna pick you apart. So we might not see as much drop because they might play Bona. They might not even do a small lineup, depending. But again, this is the joys of having such a deep team. Yeah. You can play multiple ways and match up with multiple teams different ways efficiently because of the amount of people you have to help your team.
Yeah.
So,
and I see people in the chat talking about, oh, Maxi's going to up it. Like, yes, I would assume that Maxi's going to up his defensive game. He is a star player. He is an all-star. We know that. No one is giving him, any shade of being a good basketball player. But when your team right now is running 6 deep and you have to play extra hard to try to guard one player on our team, that's great if he's locked down. We're not getting our scoring from one player right now. Our players are scoring through and through. So yeah, you want to work extra hard to stop one guy. That's fine. But where's the rest? It's like that one line by Jay. We don't believe you. You need more people. They need more people. They don't have it. It's not a matter of, oh, he's going to play harder. We know he is. You get destroyed like that as an all-star, you're going to come back with more aggression, with more determination, and that's fine. But when you're off the court or the other guys alongside of you, what difference are they making? That's the big thing. We all know Maxi's going to be Maxi. We're not worried about that. We know that's going to happen. But the way that we guarded him, so let him lock us down, but we're still playing such great defense that it's not going to produce productivity for them. And we have other players that can contribute on the offensive end besides the guy that is guarding Maxi. That's their difference. Like, if we continue to play the defense that they have, it's just going to make him even more tired for game 3. So let him get tired. Play 4 quarters of hard basketball, because playing 3 quarters of good basketball last time led to a spanking. So we'll see what happens.
Facts. And also, just their style of basketball against New York is not a style to beat us. That one-on-one style, your turn, my turn, that's not the type of team that we have troubles with. Is when they're moving the ball, creating off the dribble, and getting everybody else involved with. Like, that's when we have the issues. So this one-on-one, having 15 assists in one game, that's not scaring the Knicks. We'll allow that. We'll allow Maxi to go off, because now that means if there's no Embiid in that big 3, we just don't let the third person join the party. We try not to let the second person right now join that party. So Maxi can be the superhero. He can do that on both ends. He can show his worth. Cool. But this is game 2 in this series. He has to do a lot. And after game 7, like Phil just mentioning, you give. So I'm not worried about that. It was the battle of wills to me. That was my concerns. Who would impose their will first? I have mentioned some numbers about how Philadelphia, last pregame, how Philadelphia didn't give anything easy.
Yeah.
We dominated them in the points in the paint, 32-58. See, battle of wills. Dominated them in the paint.
Yep.
They didn't give turnovers, no points off of turnovers. They gave up 25 points off the turnovers. Blocks, we had 6. Steals, we had 10. Like, that assist number stands out humongous to me. Yeah. 15-34 lets you know the type of defense, and that we were blocking their actions. They couldn't get what they wanted at first. They had to try to go to the second action. Yes, he knows Bob Lee, my guy. But yeah, but it's just we playing out of our mind, just a straight team. What I've been asking for, Phil, is just trusting each other. Trusting each other. It does. Every game is not going to look the same. Some games, Jalen Brunson may have 40. Some games he might have 20 or 17. As long as Cat is helping, OG is helping, and Mikal has started to help, he's starting to look comfortable. Can't forget my guy Josh.
Oh yeah.
The definition of starring in your role. I don't have to score 1 billion points, but if I get my people easy shots, if I get them extra possessions off the offensive rebound, if I secure the defensive rebound and then push, you get what I mean? If I get these steals, get in the passing lane, he is focused, because normally Josh Hart sometimes takes crazy gambles and it may not work out. That has not been the case. He has been very locked in, like he's been watching film locked in. I see you, Josh. I see the effort from all of our team. The fact that we can throw just people in. Our rookie into the bench kept the momentum going in that fourth quarter. I just, this team is what we've been asking for, and I continue. I don't see that I don't see that changing with this game. Now, especially without Embiid. I know people thinking that it'll be better spacing, they might be better defensively. I don't see that.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because even before you were on KOT, like when we first connected, and neither one of us were on KOT at the time, the echo was the same. It was like you and I just wanted selfishness to be gone and play team ball. And there were many that, you got to let your star be your star. This is a stars game. This is a stars game. And it's proven that it can be a stars game, but how many stars have we seen be eliminated already? Because it was a stars game as opposed to it was a players game. Star game is what's gotten us eliminated in the past. Star game is what you've never seen the Knicks play like we have the last 3 games in a playoffs in our fandom. I haven't seen elite basketball like that since Starks and Ewing, And so for me, I'm happy to finally be here with you going, we're seeing what we wanted. We're seeing what we wanted. Our guys did not play the fourth quarter in 2 back-to-back games of our starters. That is crazy, And so for me, I see this series and I go, okay, if we play like this, this is, the finals. This is the finals. This team can do it. And I think running it through Cat was the main thing that we needed. And the main thing that we, hoped to see, because he was not being good when it wasn't through him. Earlier in the season, we were all like, yo, time to pack it up. Something changes or it packs it up. And it took all of these players sacrificing their pride to get us to where we're at right now. And that's what making this basketball so great to watch. So shout out to the team. But also, I want your thoughts on, some of these bench guys. Someone made a great point the other day that we haven't even seen what Sohan can do when it comes to being defensively frustrating on Joel Embiid if he starts to cook. Bring a player in that can get some fouls, that can rough him up a little bit, but make his life a living hell. And that's what Sohan is there for.
I actually kind of mentioned that in the pregame, that last pregame, because the joys of being a deep team. Just if you need that spark, if you need to throw off a opponent, just because they probably not scouting for a Jeremy Sohan, you get what I mean? If you just wanted to throw them off, play another version of small ball. If you don't trust Huck Porty in certain instances, if you do need them, I take it. Even Mo, just to throw them out there in case you need, like you mentioned, the fouls, to be aggressive. We still really haven't seen. I think Shamet gets another chance to show what he can do this series if they need him. Just another body to throw on Maxey. They don't have that luxury. Philadelphia does not have that luxury at all, where they could just switch and match and play like that. So it's going to take a lot of energy out of them. I don't see it back. Just not overlooking people, not thinking about that we're just super better. Just talking basketball wise and what we're capable of. I don't see it. I just don't see them overcoming all of this.
Yeah.
Um,
And one thing you said that I love is being able to see Mikal Bridges show up in the end of that series and this series so far is something that really changes the trajectory of the game. Because we've seen games where it's like OG, Cat, and Jalen have gone off, and then Mikal has 2 points, and it still causes a little ripple in our productivity. And then we have to rely so heavily on the bench to score. But when Mikal does this, and we have 4 of our guys with 15 to 30 points, this team is pretty unstoppable. So what do you think? Like, do you just think that Mikal Bridges is on coast during the season, or do you think that all the criticism got to him where he knew he had to step up in the playoffs? What do you think flicked that switch?
Well, I hope the criticism, because there was a lot of it. Also, maybe he's pacing himself during the regular season. I know there's such thing as playoff risers. You know, there's a different atmosphere. There is no tomorrow, so your physicality goes up a notch because there is no tomorrow kind of vibes. Whereas in the regular season, you're trying to make it to the playoffs. So maybe his level of physicality on defense and offense and not going to the rim as much during the season. And as it goes by towards the end, maybe he increases that. But some people just need to be that pressure. They need it behind them. But some players like that. They just when they're in that atmosphere, something causes them to lock in. and Josh Hart, I believe, is one of them. And maybe Mikal. Maybe Mikal might be another one. Because and also us, like you mentioned, Mike Brown finagling through the regular season the way he did, trying to find different ways to work things out. I think that also helped Mikal understanding how to get him truly in all aspects. He put him in the corner. He put him a lot of places to try to help him. Then you realize, okay, if we just let him move. Let him move constantly. That'll help him a little bit, open up the game. He doesn't have to think as much, I believe.
Yeah. And you know, shout out to you, giving Mike Brown your props. So, Ra of Nick Life Crisis, when you watch this a little bit later, bro, by the end of this series, you're going to be eating your words about Mike Brown and this season. And I told you, if he gets us to the Eastern Conference Finals and you do not buy a Mike Brown jersey like you promised, your show will be cut. All right. So it needs to happen. And I believe that it will happen because Mike Brown's been cooking. So what do you think the X factor is for tonight? Like, what do you want to see out the gate from the Knicks?
Pressure, or punch him in the face again. Instant pressure, instant pressure in them passing lanes, communication, teamwork, unselfishness. Dude, the energy, like the playoff energy needs to be there. When we lost those games in Atlanta, I had said that was missing. It looked like we believed in our own Kool-Aid. We were losing the 50-50 balls. It just looked like we thought we were the better team. We lost a couple of games, then the intensity picked up. I need that intensity, that playoff intensity, straight from the gate. Smart basketball. Take it, they don't have a lot. Don't overhelp. Don't get everybody involved. So since they don't have Maxey is their guy, Maxey be their guy. Everybody else, you stay home with. Guard your yard. Do what they've been doing, blitzing people in their hot spots. Doubling people in their hot spots. I feel, and again, the communication. I seen Cat and his defensive IQ, and that happens with repetition in the same system. Instead of him drop coverage, he's high hedging. Sometimes it's like I want to say a predicting a screen. He'll jump the screen before it's even there, eliminating it. I seen that. That's huge against Philadelphia because I mentioned they're like number 2 in percentage of points and pick and rolls. That's where they get majority of their points from, is in that pick and roll system. So if you eliminate that, where do they go? Straight one-on-one basketball after that. I'm cool with one-on-one basketball. It's 1-on-15, 1-on-12. That's it. Don't let PG and the rest of them try to gain confidence. Take that from them immediately.
And that's a great point because they really thrive, especially with Embiid being injured and not being able to be extremely mobile on that pick and pop and pick and roll situation. But even more so without Embiid being there tonight, there's no one that is really, comfortable at being in that Embiid position to do it. Like Drummond can do a variation, but Drummond isn't really that much of a threat, because Drummond is not going to be driving on Cat, on Mitch. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to be the physical guy that Embiid can be at times. And so I feel like they're limited even more so than they were already limited. So for us, I think this is a matter of the Knicks showing up. The thing that we've always been frustrated with is whether it's in a game or in the next game, like excelling so much and then the foot being off the gas the next time we see them on the court. But we have not seen that in 3 back-to-back games. The Knicks just continue to accelerate and accelerate and accelerate. And so I agree with you, no, you don't hit somebody when they're down, but as soon as you get up, you're the first one to drop that haymaker. Like you want to be that first one that as soon as they think that, that they're safe again, that they're back on their butts. And I feel like the best way to make this series like a smooth walk in the park is we already humiliated them in the Garden. Now steal their soul in the Garden. Knock them down so hard that they go back to Philly feeling a bit depressed, so that when we eat their lunch in Philly, in game 3, then it's a wrap. Then they kind of know that they're done. So I think that you are right. We got to keep our foot on the gas in this game.
Yeah. And then just again with the deep team, why you want you don't need a bunch of stars, just a bunch of players that star in their role. Why you want the type of team that we have. Look at Philadelphia, who has, I guess you want to say, a very heavy star, heavy team. But then they don't have the rest of the team there. Now there's nobody there to help them. We have a team that puts constant pressure on Poe. That does something to you. Like no matter who's in the game, they can affect the game, then put pressure on you either defensively or offensively. That messes with your psyche, especially when you don't have the players to match up with that.
Yeah.
Philadelphia trying everything. They came out of third quarter trying to double Cat and JB every time they got the ball. But you can't do that when OG and Mikal and Josh Hart is playing the way they playing. That's what happens when you have a strong team. So now you have the likes of Cat and JB, who you have to double to have a chance to really stop them. You can't do that. And they damn sure can't do Hacker Mitch. I think that's stupid, even if they do have him beat. You got 6 players, right? First of all, then you have I just mentioned we have Cat and Jalen Brunson. So you're going to put those 2 in the penalty? Because all they're going to do is take Mitch off the floor and then drive down and pull at your throat to try to get to the free throw line.
Yep. Yeah.
So that makes no sense.
Like with some teams, it makes sense. They want to do a hack a Mitch, that's fine. But when you're down as bad as you were in that first game, the last thing you want to do is make it to where your only real defenders can't defend, at the end of the day. Like, what are you going to do? Have your bench out there every time Mitch is on the court so that they're getting the fouls? Is like random, players that weren't even on the roster now are going to play because they're going to foul Mitch all game, But what do you do there? You stop the clock. And you realize stopping the clock is in our favor because we're going to keep scoring, So it's just going to be a bad situation over and over again if that's their technique. And I think that's where Mike Brown and his staff have the upper hand in this series. Like it's been very, diverse in what we're seeing out there. And with Nick Nurse, you're kind of seeing a lot of what you've always seen from Nick Nurse. And, the players that they've banked on, you get a guy like Kyle Lowry on the bench, but he can't play for like ever and a day that he's on the roster. That doesn't help you. They don't really have anything that's going to be a difference maker in a series. So I think that this is going to be great. And to your point, I think OG Anunoby has been our all-star in this this whole thing. Shout out to Lee on his great Substack. Besides just calling him a superstar, I think he's been our MVP this series. Followed closely by Cat. But I think in the sum of the whole playoffs so far, like OG Anunoby's the reason that we're set apart in both those series so far, because he's done everything. Like, he is not afraid to get fouled. He's not afraid to shoot. He's not afraid to jump in between, two defenders and take it the other way. Like, he is doing everything. And which is crazy to say, because without OG, you'd be like, yo, Cat is the MVP of this series. But OG's come out of the woodworks and been like, nope, don't forget about me. Like, do not forget about me when you're talking about who's going to be the MVP of this series.
And like a lot, one of the parts that I most like about OG is not. I love the offense because I love his growth. When defenders grow their offensive game, I'm ecstatic. But his help defense and what he allows, a lot of mistakes that he erases at times, in the back end, how he waits and he'll pick him, and Mikal do this too. Mikal does it too. They'll wait until somebody's about to take a shot, and that's when they'll come over to help with the contest. Not so much a whole double team, but they wait till they see them about to spin around, and then they'll go double team to try to help with the smaller. Normally it's Jalen Brunson about to get somebody trying to shoot over him. They'll come pause at the back end and try to contest the jump shot. So yeah, just everywhere. I love that he's a 3-level scorer. Now I love that he realizes that he is a mismatch, that he is huge, and I am a mismatch, and he's playing like that. That's why I say Giannis and Kawhi had a baby, because I remember when Giannis realized that, hey, I just go full straight ahead and nobody gonna stop me.
Yep.
That's kind of what I feel like OG is doing right now. He's like, all right, I'm a big guy. Let me just go up with this and see what happens. And some of the mid-range shots that he's hitting, turnarounds, I was like, okay, OG, I see you working. But yes, he's been amazing. I'm so happy for him too.
Yep. I want to give a quick shout out to some people in the chat. Haven't given much people, but we're here at 4:40 and y'all are chilling with us. So thank you. Sincerely, my guy Lee. We got Misery Loves Company 2006. We got my guy Joe from AC, always in the chat supporting. Appreciate you. We got Crim's dad. Appreciate you being in the chat as well. We got Hawks ATL. He said the difference will be Maxi. Nah, get out of here. Get out of here. You're a Hawk fan. You're supposed to be in Cancun.
Maxi gonna have to do his best Kobe 80 impression.
We got Coast Nick in the building. We got our guy Lee Escobedo, always supporting even when he's doing something. Our guy, we got cross signal 3126. Appreciate you. Nick Life Crisis. Tell him Alejandro. Appreciate you. We got mad people up in here. We got DJ Space Ghost. Appreciate you being in the building as always. If you guys can, tomorrow night we'll be live with the Knicks Nightcap, 8 p.m. right here. It's going to be a good time. Shout out also to our homegirl on Knicks Twitter, Louisa. She just posted a photo of Ebony and I on her TV, and she tagged us and said that she's watching on her big screen right now. So appreciate everyone on Knicks Twitter showing support as well. So, all right, what are your thoughts before we head out? What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Oh, I think we punch him in the face. I think it's another BTA. Not trying. I know it's the Knicks, but I don't think that their temperament right now is championship, and they're not trying to lose that. I like Cat's response. Everybody was like, okay, those are the last 3 games. It has no effect on the next couple of games. They're not celebrating this little stretch. They want more. And I'm like, yeah, I want more too. So I think we're just playoff ready. My keys, the pick and roll defense. I thought last game we did well in that area, and I hope that continues throughout the playoffs, because that was an area that we had problems with through the season that we've gotten better at. Their pick defense is going to be huge. We mentioned that how Philadelphia uses the pick and roll situation a lot. So how we navigate that will be huge. And just keep constant pressure on them on both ends. I don't. That's a lot of energy to expend. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I agree. I think we go up 2-0 at the end of tonight, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. The only thing I'm not excited for, and I'm gonna be dead honest with some of y'all out there. Y'all fake Knicks fans that just became Knicks fans in the last year or so, 2 years.
Appreciate you
I
bringing this
remember
up.
the first time we beat, Cleveland at home. I was out there with my camera. CP the franchise was out there. A few other people, but it was barely any content creators. Okay, I was just there with my camera because we were doing a watch party down the street, and I was like, "Yo, let's go see how our fans are doing." And the fandom was real, was genuine, was authentic. People were excited. They were screaming out of celebration. Not this whole like, I'm gonna do this to my dad, or I'm gonna do this to a Hawk fan, or I'm gonna do this to a Piston fan. Like none of that talk was there. Y'all are all Knicks for clicks, clickbait fans. You guys have not done enough to act like you're crying on camera. Like all that stuff needs to stop. Y'all make us look like fools. Like that's not real fandom. That's not sincere. I don't support that. So let's just cut that junk out. Like let's put an end to that. We don't need it. All right.
Kat, I want to say some to that too. Yeah, facts. I was there a lot of times when we started the watch parties and things of that nature. Actually, shout out to Danny, the guy. Don't you wish you came to New York?
Yeah, that was real. That was real.
That was real. I remember we went to Philadelphia the first time we had played them in Philadelphia and took over the arena. That was real. There was tailgating. Knicks fans had tailgate parties. We took a bus out there and they were tailgating in Philadelphia's parking lot. It was so many of us. They couldn't, and everybody was just looking like, I can't believe this is happening. But that was real authentic. That's just us celebrating. And nobody has a problem with our passion because Knicks fans are very passionate. But also one thing that New Yorkers are real and organic. So we spot phony and fake from a mile away. We're not saying don't have fun, but you clout chasing. Allow this for the real fans to have fun, to express their enjoyment. Because when they do it, it's organic. It doesn't look forced. It doesn't look corny. And the fact of the matter is you're endangering real Knicks fans because we do travel. We travel.
Yep.
Like, it's not everybody just lives in these spots. There are real road warriors in this Knicks fan base. Yep. And you making it hard for them also. Yep. So nobody's trying to be a warden and police. We just want safe and fun and organic. Stop being corny. I'm tired of the unoriginality and the corniness. It's the clout chasing. With you 5 seconds of fame, because nobody's going anywhere else after that. Like it's not worth it. The people that we know in those videos, we respect because we know them in the circle. We've seen them in the games. We've seen them in the watch party. I just mentioned the guy. Don't you wish you came to New York, Katie? He throwing tailgate parties in other people's stadiums. So those are real fans.
Yep. And the last thing I'll say about that is, those people that were beating somebody up as he was wearing a Sixers jersey, that was what my post was. I know so many people that travel to games in different cities and states. And I am one of those people, and so if fan bases are seeing New Yorkers acting a fool whenever their fans come to town, like, don't be complaining when one of ours is hurt, when one of ours gets injured because of your stupidity. Like, that's ridiculous. You're putting actual fans at risk so that you can make a cool little Instagram video and you could be in an Instagram video. Like, that's just ridiculous. It's not worth it. And that's not how we've ever, like, there were times where the teams that we hated the most would come to New York. The Reggie Millers would come to New York, and we'd have all the words with them, but we weren't jumping somebody as they were trying to leave. Like, that's just ridiculous. We weren't trying to break their jersey. Like, we've always been a fan base that, like, don't disrespect us. We won't disrespect you. But someone walking through the crowd is not called disrespect. That's ridiculous. I was in Indiana for 2 games last series, with my family. Like, what happens if I take my boys and my wife and now the tables are turned, and because of cats like you, I have to, like, watch out for my kids making it safely to the car. Like, don't be stupid, So at the end of the day, let's get that W. Let's have fun. But if you're one of those fans, just stop being a fan. Like, do me a favor. We don't need you.
No, we don't. We got enough bad PR. We don't need you giving us more.
You got Stephen A. Smith. We don't need anything else. All right.
Shoot, that's it.
All right. What are your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts is just play like a team, unselfishly on both ends. Communicate, and that's it. Trusting each other. We do that. I've said this from before the playoffs. To me, it's never been X's and O's. It's always been temperament, mentality, egos, sacrifice. That's it. Like Josh Hart said, I've been saying that you sacrifice. You have to. You're not going to be able to shoot the amount of the ball the amount of times you want to. But as long as you get the W, that should be it. That is it. Come out with that same intensity, punch him in the face, and try to continue making history. Try to continue making history. Let's get this chip. Exactly. Roll to the chip. I feel this is the calmest I've been as a Knicks fan. Like I thought that was before, like last year, but I've been even more calm this year. Just sat back and really enjoyed this season. Like just to watch it.
Speaking of enjoying this season, if you guys are enjoying the KOT network, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Feel free to drop some super chats for the crew. We are trying to grow this thing and do things in excellence. So if you're enjoying, Ebony coming out and dropping these pre-games like we've all known she's needed to do, like hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it on Twitter, because we're going to continue to do this. If you're enjoying us with our new show, Nick Life Crisis, two 40-year-old plus dudes that have been fans for a while and are now celebrating actually being able to have a winning team, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it, invite people. We all have a million Knick fan friends. Invite them to join the channel. We want to see this continue to grow so that more and more channels, more and more shows can continue. Lee's going to do a show. I'm going to do a different show. Like, we all want to do these things, but it's important that growth is there so that we can continue to at least have a TV dinner that was provided from our income, on this, so that we don't have to cook before the show. So we appreciate you all. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And like always, shout out to Queen Ebony. Always has the X's and O's that you need. Visor Gang still strong, never going to go away. And we're going to continue to, do this until the Knicks get that chip this year. I believe it is possible. I'm jumping out the window, y'all.
I told y'all Ron Brown jumping out the window on this one too, Phil. But I appreciate you again, Phil, for supporting my randomness, because this was last minute too. But Phil said I got you, so I appreciate you for giving your time to let me get some of this Knicks stuff off my chest.
Anytime I can put out something good into the world, and especially when it comes to like good Knicks takes, I'm gonna hop on when I can. So I appreciate you, sis, and I'll see you all in the chat tomorrow night, 8 p.m. But make sure you are locked in tonight, right after the show, with Lee, with Jay, and whoever the heck else is going to be there. Maybe B, maybe Ryan, maybe Fritz. Who knows? Maybe Al will show up out of nowhere. We'll see what happens. But until next time, deuces. Let's go, Knicks.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.